benefits far outweigh the drawbacks in any ERP, and benefits range from architecture, technology advancements, and integration, and it covers all the business areas, the business functions in organization. So every part of it will be benefited by an ERP, and not only from a functional standpoint but also from a employee standpoint. Employees have an application which will make things easier for them to do, which will give them information at their fingertips for them to take the decision. So the benefits are far and wide with respect to any ERP. So in the coming slides, I will talk about each and every benefit that is listed here. These are pretty much the major ones. There are a lot of trivial ones and there are smaller ones also. So I will not cover those. I will cover only the major aspect, major benefits, and they should cover almost bulk of the spectrum. Scalable architecture. Now, this is one of the real big value which an enterprise application can bring in. Present day, the demands on organizations are pretty high. Our environments change pretty quick and fast, and our systems have to keep pace with this growing demands on the organization. Organizations grow in always organic growth, inorganic growth, and also from a performance perspective, where customer base is increasing, user base is increasing. So to cater to all kinds of growth, an ERP, current cutting-edge ERPs are pretty good at this, because the architecture is designed to scale seamlessly without with very minimal user intervention. And when I say minimal internal user intervention, it is not just minimal IT resources required to scale up to this growth. It's also from a cost perspective. The marginal cost or the incremental cost is not significantly high. It's fair to medium cost in catering to this growth. In addition, these architectures are designed for globalization and localization capabilities. These are built in. So when I say globalization and localization, what it means is organizations, whether it's small, medium, or large organization, established organization, will have presence in multiple countries. They typically be MNCs, and so you have smaller and SMEs, which will also eventually get to that point. So an application should be able to cater to the organization's local needs. So when I say local needs, we need country-specific taxation, for example. An application should be able to support country-specific taxation policies. And it's very difficult for a company to have different applications to manage these things. An ERP is a single application, can provide these capabilities. So they have multi-country support, multi-language, multi-currency, and local policies and standards and guidelines or whatever is there. An ERP will be able to support all of these. So you can pretty much have an MNC, for example, have users do transactions in various currencies or local currencies in their respective countries, and the system will be able to easily integrate all of these. Just an example. So there are far more other benefits on the localization and globalization perspective, and that is where a single ERP can really give a lot of benefit to the organization. In addition, finally on the architecture side, so an ERP typically signifies a unified system, and what in present day parlance is called a single source of truth, SSOT. Now SSOT is a pretty simple concept. What it means is every data element is stored only in one place. Now this is very similar to normalization in databases, but this is normalization at an enterprise level, meaning when you have a single ERP, you will, across all the business functions, the ERP ensures that a data element is stored only at one place. And what this means is any other places where this data is used will probably be on a reference basis. So when you update in one place, you will end up updating all the references automatically. There is a cascading effect on this. So what this implies is an organization will always have valid data, not incorrect and outdated data, which is pretty important because incorrect and outdated data can actually mean a wrong business decision, for example, in some cases. So SSOT is pretty important. It's a very common parlance nowadays, and ERPs generally ensure that this is managed or maintained. So next big benefit is on the technology side. So technology is something that changes very frequently, and it's very difficult for organizations to keep pace with technology with their in-house homegrown systems. And also businesses want to keep pace with technology because technology can be leveraged to improve component capabilities with which the organizations can derive a lot of value. So ERP vendors are very proactive in that, and they keep pace with the technology. So any new versions that are rolled out typically have newer technology already incorporated in it for customers to use. So I've just listed some of the technologies, but there are a whole lot of newer technologies that are coming up, and this list will always be outdated at any point of time. So SOA has been around for quite some time, and ERPs have also started have integrated SOA capabilities in the product. Now, this has been pretty much used on a very small scale, but in the past few years, ERP vendors have really gone very big on this, and these capabilities help us in integrating the application with third-party applications, that other third-party applications that an organization uses, which are not replaced by ERP. And then you have Web 2.0, which is also pretty popular, and this has enabled collaboration, more effective collaboration, better user connectivity. So these things help an organization in getting more value out of the product. BI, business intelligence, has also been there for quite some time, and these provide some of the applications of BI is customizable dashboards with which a user can get all the information that they need in one single place. And this is very useful from a metric standpoint, and getting the metrics, kind of like what are the sales, what are the leads, what are the sales opportunities, how is the inventory getting managed. So there are a lot of metrics that can be derived, which when placed on the dashboard can give a single point of view for a top management person. In addition, dashboards also help in managing very well, which is you can have KPIs, define the KPIs, customize the dashboard to suit that, and you can very well see how somebody who's responsible for pursuing a sales opportunity, how well they're doing. So technology, these are technology benefits, benefits from technology which can assist a business. Integration. Now, when I say integration, there are actually a couple of aspects to it. So first is integrating the various business functions. Typically, any established organization, or even an organization which has been around for a few years, they tend to have a lot of in-house applications. Now, these applications function in silos for the most part, and the data sharing is not very effective or possibly not there. Now, these an ERP, when it comes in, when a full suite of ERP, when it actually replaces all the in-house functions, brings in an integration of all these functional areas. It replaces all these independent, disparate applications, replaces them with a single product, and hence all the business functions are very effectively integrated. This integration leads to a data sharing between all these functions, various functional areas, and that can really benefit an organization from all points. And integration also helps in building good workflow. So all ERPs for the most part come with good business process management BPM suites. So we could actually build very good workflow in the process and also build in a good transparent approval process. Now, apart from the business functional level integration, so there are also a technical level integration which I need to talk about. I mean, it would not be wise if I don't touch upon the technical level integration aspect of it. So that's where EAI, Enterprise Application Integration Framework, comes into the picture. So there are times when we may not be able to integrate all the in-house applications or replace all the in-house applications with the legacy applications with the ERP and ERP product, and sometimes integration may be required. So I will talk a little bit about this later on the subsequent slides. So, but here just want to touch upon the EAI concept here. So EAI basically it's an integration framework. It enables integration of independent disparate applications that are there in the organization. And given the nature of these applications, the integration is not pretty simple and straightforward. So there are certain methodologies which are defined here, which are used here for integrating these. So typically these integrations will be a cross-platform program communication methods, so using message brokers and message queues and all those stuff. And some of the methodologies are Hoops, Corba, COM, middleware, message queues, and there are a few others also. So, but these are the pretty common ones that are being used. And there are companies which do just this work. They specialize on this. They allow integration, and not just between legacy and ERPs. It's also between cutting-edge ERPs, because there are customers who have different ERP products for different business areas, and the integration needs to be there for the organization, and that is achieved through this. So in such cases, typically the data sharing will be through XML, which is a pretty standard format, and that makes the data sharing pretty easier. Coming back to the benefits section, so this is by far the biggest benefit that an organization looks for in an ERP: improved decision-making capabilities. Now, for the most part, any organization, when they invest in an ERP, and this is probably the core reason why they would go with it, because one, data is not available at their fingertips, or the right data is not available at their fingertips for them to make more informed decisions, take business decisions. And that is where an ERP will really help. ERPs come by default with good analytics and reports, and it can be customized to generate reports as per the user's needs. And as discussed before, we have dashboards which are there, and dashboards with drill down capabilities lets the top management actually drill down, or even any user as a managerial position, allows them to drill down and get down to the lowest possible level of data to understand what is going wrong, if something is going, if they want to analyze anything. Embedded decision support systems are available, which have a lot of capabilities, which helps in deciding, knowing what will happen if a certain decision is taken. Better forecasting models. Now, these forecasting models, when I talk here, it's from all aspects. It's from a financial standpoint, from a sales standpoint, and purchase, inventory management, everything. So, good forecasting models are already built in. There are industry standards which are already built into the product, and they're also customizable. Products are also customizable in building models which a user would require. And as I said before, workflow is something which also comes with all the cutting-edge ERPs, and that enables delegation. And with delegation, and also provides more control for the management. So this is also a very good significant benefit from an operational standpoint. And transparency and accountability. Now this is pretty important, because in any organization, people need to know who is responsible for what, and that information has to be available. Now, by nature, given the nature of the ERPs provide transparency and accountability, because whatever work is done is being recorded and everyone knows who has to work on what, and that kind of information is available. And these are some of the things, the accountability in particular are some of the things which public sector enterprises generally look for when they go for an ERP. Now, in addition, improved accessibility by data access anywhere and anytime. So this is primarily driven by technology. It is now all information is available in smartphones and iPads and all other tablet PCs, which is actually because of the technology that is available right now. And this allows people to have information, users to have information, access to information wherever they are. They don't need to be in their office, so they get information right in their hands. And this enables top management to take some quick decisions in cases where they need to act quickly. So overall, all these together helps businesses in managing, organizations in managing everything much better. So there is an overall improvement in the management aspect, which is the core reason why organizations generally would like to go for an ERP. Productivity improvements. Now, with the integration of all the business functions, like we have the warehouse and the sales team and the marketing team and the production. So with all the business functions integrated with data sharing available, and workflow capability is already built in, all these translates into improved productivity for an organization. There is optimum utilization of materials, manpower, and machinery once an ERP is implemented. And this improves turnaround time in fulfilling orders and reduces the inventory holding. So companies can even look to move into just-in-time model, so that will lower their cost of managing inventory, faster turnaround times, and overall a better customer experience. All these translates into overall better customer experience, which is what organizations look for at a high level. Coming to the next benefit. So cost. Now, cost is something which I would also talk about in the drawbacks. So it depends on from which angle we look at it. So I will talk from the benefit side right now, and I will also talk about the drawback side on the cost factor later on. So on the benefit side, if the ERP product replaces all the legacy applications, that would drastically reduce recurring expenditure down the line. Recurring expenditure in the sense that there would be lesser hardware that would be required to manage a lesser number of IT resources and lesser number of applications to manage. So all these translate into reduced recurring expenditure down the line. Okay. And this will be pretty significant for large setups, and for SMEs it may or may not be significant. That depends on the scale of the setup which the SMEs have. In addition, as I said in the earlier slide, so when optimum utilization of materials and machinery and resources, manpower is achieved, that will in turn lower production and manufacturing cost, which can also be significant down the line. So these are perceivable cost reductions that an organization can see once they go with an ERP, with a full setup of an ERP. Compliance. Now, this is pretty important in the sense that organizations have to always operate within the rules and the regulations and the policies and laws of the local land. And with an in-house application, it's very difficult for an organization to comply with this because policies keep changing. Legal and regulatory requirements constantly keep changing, and it will be difficult for an organization to keep pace with that. And ERP products in general, enterprise applications, comply with legal and regulatory requirements called legs and regs in ERP parlance. And legs and regs are by default complied with, and any policy change, the vendor will proactively get these implemented in the product and roll out the upgrades to all the customers. So from that standpoint, ERPs are pretty good in ensuring organizations stay within the laws of the local land. Statutory reporting is another thing which governments mandate, and all ERPs generally have these built in the product itself. Another thing, when I say compliance, I also want to talk about the industry standards and practices. So for example, we have GAAP on the accounting standards, which is being used by, in each country has its own GAAP, and we have IFRS, which is going to be rolled out and made mandatory soon. And products here, enterprise applications would be built from enterprise financial applications would be built based on these standards, and once IFRS becomes mandatory, they will automatically change the product to suit that. So it's not just accounting standards, it's any standards, guidelines which are there across all business functions, and enterprise application would be built on it, which allows organizations to leverage on these and improve or realign their business process. So an ERP implementation can actually turn out to be a good opportunity for organizations to realign their business process and adopt industry standards and practices in their business. So with that, covered all the benefits, and we will move on to the drawbacks. So